No one seems to be buying the Biden administration's claim that the rising inflation is actually all the fault of Russia. We have two rich men, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, both speaking up and blaming Biden for the increasing problem of inflation in the U.S. economy. Here's what was said.
They know inflation hurts the neediest the most. But unions aren't causing inflation, and neither are wealthy people. Remember, the administration tried their best to add another $3.5 trillion to federal spending. They failed, but if they had succeeded, inflation would be even higher than it is today, and inflation today is at a 40-year high.
The honest reason for inflation is that the government printed a zillion amount of more money than it had. This is not super complicated. This administration just doesn't seem to get a lot done.
It's important to point out that Jeff Bezos is the owner of the Washington Post. He's a staunch Democrat. You have Elon Musk speaking there as well. And the two of them are blaming the Biden administration. Now, the situation is getting worse for Americans if you just look at the facts. At this point, we're talking about 8.3% rise in inflation in April. The producer price index is up 11% over last year. That's quite a significant increase. Goods are simply costing more. Now, we had the Fox News host Tucker Carlson lashing out at the Biden administration for their handling of the economic situation in the United States. Here's what Tucker Carlson said.
People who run our economy in the U.S. government caused inflation in the United States. And they did it the old-fashioned way, by printing a ton of money very quickly, and that devalued our currency, as printing a ton of money very quickly always does.
Now, a poll showed that in Texas, for example, half of the residents blame the Biden administration for the rising costs and the deteriorating situation in the country. Many Americans are just not happy with the economic situation. They were led to believe that things would get better as the pandemic faded away, and Trump was supposed to have been responsible, and Biden was coming in to save the day and fix things from Trump's mismanagement. But the economic situation seems to have deteriorated. A lot of Americans are unhappy, and midterm elections, in which the United States will elect a new Congress, are approaching. People will be heading to the polls in November. So at this point, things don't look good for the Democratic Party of Joe Biden.
The main causes of inflation are very long-standing policies of the United States and Congress, and I would list three of them. 75 years of grossly excessive spending by Congress on unneeded weapons and illegal, unnecessary wars, the complete incompetence of the so-called Federal Reserve for the last 15 to 20 years or more, the reckless, foolish, counterproductive, and self-destructive economic sanctions that the U.S. has placed on Russia, China, Iran, Venezuela, and many other countries.